All right, step 11, the button up and paperwork. So like, follow, subscribe, comments if I can do something to make it better. All right, so when we're talking about the button up paperwork, we want to do the paperwork in a very specific order. So I'm going to walk you through the order that we do paperwork. This isn't going to be a super long video. It's just an overview of the correct order to do paperwork and some of the thought processes behind it. So the people have made a buying decision. In most cases, that is a finance situation. So if it's a finance deal, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to give them a paper credit app to fill out. And while they're filling out the paper credit app, you are preparing the one-click agreement for signatures. So you hand them a paper credit app, have them fill it out, have them both fill out their information. You meanwhile, you're on your iPad getting one click ready, preparing the agreement, getting it ready to sign. You always go through the one-click agreement yourself first, so you can sign your name and you can correctly date the entire document for both sides. That way, when you go through to have them sign, all the dates are already there, all of the stuff that needs to be filled out is pre-filled out, and literally all you're doing is explaining and having them sign, explaining and having them initial. So you're good to go. Once they finish the paper credit app, you set that aside and you're going to then go through the one-click agreement and you're going to get it signed and you're going to collect your deposit. If it's a check, you're going to write the check, set it right there on the table. Don't put it in your pocket till after the agreement's signed. If it's cash, same thing, you count it. The receipt is the agreement because it says how much that they put down. You don't put it away until they've signed everything. If it's a credit card, you're going to process the credit card at the beginning of the agreement and then hand it back to them, and they'll get an electronic receipt. So you are now ready to go through the agreement. You go through the agreement. You've signed and dated everything. You go through the agreement and you read the work that's going to be done and you show them their deposit and you show them the total and the amount that they're either going to be paying third or what they're going to be financing. And they go, yes, that's correct. And then they sign it. And the next thing you're going to get to is the rescission. Now there's a whole video on the rescission conversation on YouTube. I highly, highly, highly encourage you to use this word track. Do not ignore the rescission. It says right on the rescission, they're going to sign that they've been both written and verbally made aware of the rescission. So if you sign their name, because you've captured their signature, you could just sign it electronically by pressing a button, and you don't have a conversation, and then they go back and read it the next day, they're going to cancel because they're like, I never heard this and my name's on it. You got to acknowledge the rescission. I'll give you the conversation one time. So you get to the rescission, you go, John and Mary, familiar with the right of rescission. If you say right of rescission, they're probably going to say no. So anytime someone comes to your home and you decide to purchase something from them, you have, and just say whatever it is in the state you're in. 3 days if you're in any state but Maryland, 5 days if you're in Maryland, 7 days if they're over 65. Don't explain those 3 parameters. Just say whatever's relevant to them. So whenever somebody comes into your home to sell you something, you have 3 days in which you can cancel the transaction. Now, obviously with a company our size, we don't get our size and the way we do things and our reputation. We don't get many cancellations. What do you think upper management's first conclusion is when a cancellation comes in? You got to say it slow with pauses so they hear the question. And then once you ask the question, you shut up and don't fill in the blanks. Don't keep going, even if it takes them a minute to figure it out. They've got to answer this question. And they go, I don't know, something went wrong, or you were high pressure. And whatever they say, something went wrong, high pressure, they don't know, whatever. I'm going to go, they think I did something inappropriate, right? Or I twisted your arm in some way. Have I done anything like that here today? Oh no, Harold, you've been great. Fantastic. Because I just don't need that pressure. See, I'm only allowed 2 cancellations every 3 months, 2 per quarter. And if I have more than that, my job's in jeopardy because they're wondering what I'm doing out here. I love my job. My family loves my job. My daughter loves my job. The great summer vacation we take down at the beach, all the people love my job. I just don't need that stress. So I just want to know that you're absolutely over the moon happy with what we've done here. Are you great? Absolutely. And then you stick your hand out and you go, because you got my word, it's going to happen just the way I said it would, which means you're also expecting them to honor their word. So you got to deal with the rescission. So then they acknowledge that. Then once you get down, the rest of it's pretty much just initials. And what I do is I tell the people this. I say there are several initials I've got to get about lead paint. Now let me tell you what lead paint is as a contract. And there's 2 conversations about lead paint. You're going to give them one or the other. As a contract in the United States, we have to talk about lead paint. Your home was built after 1978. Your home, we said, was built in the late 80s. There is no lead paint in your home. So you're going to initial that we talked about it and you are made aware of lead paint in the 1978 year, but none of it's relevant to you. And they go, okay. Or you're going to look at them and go, as a contract in the United States, we have to have a talk about lead paint. Your home was built before 1978. You said in the early 50s. Potentially there could be some lead paint here. I just want you to know that with the scope of the work we're doing, there's no requirement for us to do any form of testing. So you're not going to have to worry about getting hit with remediation costs. You know, that's what homeowners are worried about. And we properly dispose of it anyway. So if there is any, it's not an issue. We're going to correctly dispose of it anyway. Okay? And they go, yeah, and then you collect the initials. Then there's one other conversation to have if it's relevant to your homeowner. And that conversation is this. In the one-click agreement from Remodel USA, there's a section that talks about our 1-year labor-only warranty. That has nothing to do with our premier product lines. If we're doing windows, if we're doing a roof, if we're doing a kitchen, if we're doing a bathroom for people, you know, they have lifetime warranties, unconditional warranties. And the windows, it's transferable. You know, the roof is 50 years, non-prorated. So we have very specific, very strong warranties in the premier product line. That 1-year labor-only warranty is if we do something that's not part of that product line. If you're doing a bathroom and the missus asks you to change the light fixture over the sink, you're going to tell her, well, there's tons of light fixtures. Go buy one you like the look of, have it sitting here in the box, and we'll install it for you. Now, she bought the light fixture, so she'll get whatever manufacturer warranty comes with whatever she bought, and we're covering the installation for 1 year. If we fix a hole in the sheetrock where her son was mad at his girlfriend and he kicked a hole by the toilet in the sheetrock and it's been there for 2 years and they ask us if we can fix it, sure we can. So 1-year labor-only warranty on that repair. So the 1-year labor-only warranty is for those things outside of the parameter of our premier product lines, just so you understand. All right. So now you've got 1 click, done, signed, put away. And you're going to look at the homeowner, and this is very important. You're going to look at the homeowner and you're going to say, your copies are in your email. Let's go check and make sure you got them. Let me say it again. Your copies are in your email. Let's go check and make sure you got them. It's very, very important for you to make sure that they actually open it up and see their copies, or they'll forget you told them they're in their email. All right, so then once you've done that, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to fill out the remodel electronic credit app. About 70% of your finance deals, 70% of your deals are finance, and 70% of those you'll get approved in the home using one of our 3 credit apps. The rest of them, Michelle will work them on our second look program, and she'll get roughly half of the remainders financed the next day, and she'll take care of it with email and getting the documents signed. But Michelle does not work for Green Sky Service Finance or Dividend. Therefore, the personal information, the financial information you put in those apps to see if they can get approved while you're in the home, she doesn't have access to that information. The app is not going to tell her the birth date or income or Social Security you entered in, so she can't work them with other lenders if they're not approved. So And it's very weird for her to call and start asking for birth dates and social securities, a woman they've never met, over the phone the next day. Your deal will die. So you always want to first fill out the Remodel electronic credit. You just take that paper credit app, pull it open up the Remodel USA electronic app. Takes you 3 or 4 minutes. You just punch it in. They don't know what you're doing. It just looks like you did data entry. Hit send. It sends, goes into Michelle's mailbox, and you're good. You always do this first. The reason why you always do it first is even if you get it approved in the house using one of the other credit apps, you're like, I'm good. I don't need to fill this out. One of the lenders might come back the next day and put a stipulation on it. Like, let's say the people just bought the home and the lender checks the records and it has the old homeowner's name at the courthouse because the courthouse has dragged their feet for 3 or 4 months before they update their records. So now they're saying these people don't own the home or we need proof of home ownership. And you have to drive out there and pick up a copy of their mortgage from when they just closed on the home, make a copy of it and bring it back. Or if Michelle has the electronic credit app, she just goes to a different lender that doesn't have that stipulation on it. So you always collect the electronic credit app. The reason why you always do this first, the agreement, and collect the deposit, is because if they don't get approved in the house and you telegraph that to the homeowner and they think they got denied, it's going to be hard for you to get this signed and collect the deposit at that point. But if you have this done and it's all out of the way, it really doesn't occur to them that, they just go with you and you say, we'll get it taken care of the next day. All right, so once you do the electronic credit app, you're then going to go to the lenders in this order. You're going to go to the lenders as Green Sky, Service Finance, and then Dividend. Now, this order might change down the road. It does change every few months, depending on which lender is giving us the best deals and is buying down the deepest. But this is the order for now, and I suspect this will be the order for the next several months. So Green Sky, Service Finance, and Dividend. You have these apps on your phone. So several things about each one. So Green Sky, anything, as long as you don't ask for a deferral or 6 months, 12 months, 24 months, same as cash. If you just put their information in, say you want 180 months and it gives you a deal back, they're always going to be a no chop lender. Okay. Green Sky will also do a soft pull. You can check their credit with no impact to their credit score and get them pre-qualified. So you can do a soft pull with Green Sky. Green Sky will also do non-homeowners. So if they're, if it's the boyfriend of 18 years, but the girlfriend owns the house and he wants to pay for the bathroom, you can use Green Sky and get him financed and she doesn't have to be on the paperwork. Or if it's a son living in a home that his parents own, but it's eventually going to be his one day, you can get him financed to do work on the home. Green Sky will do non-homeowners. Service Finance does have the best rates when it comes to 6 months, 12 months, and 24 months, same as cash. So if you have to do those programs, that's where you can go. Dividend's really our lender of last resort. They only take the very best in credit scores. So unless somebody's got a really, really strong credit score, they're not going to get Dividend anyway. And they also put the most stipulations on the job. So we'll run them through there, but I want you to do them this order. When you report these, run them through one at a time. Ask them which one's got the better credit and run that person, but put entire household income on there. Any money coming into that home, you're going to put, if the adult child living downstairs going to college has a job at McDonald's, you put their income in. Because whatever income that child has to pay their own phone bill and their own gas and their own going out money is money the parents don't have to pay. It still impacts the household. So we want the entire household income, any money whatsoever coming in. Anything that's a pension plan, disability, Social Security, retirement, or a cash hustle that they don't, he chops firewood and makes some extra money in the winter chopping wood. She makes wedding cakes, a cash hustle. Those you need to add 30% to before you report them. Because when you put income in, you're putting gross income before taxes. And then the bank cuts 30% off, figuring that's about right for taxes. And the amount of money left is what they figure the people have to pay their bills. So if someone's getting $2,500 from Social Security and you put that on there, the bank's going to chop it by 30%. and think they only have $1,750 to pay their bills. Well, no, they got $2,500. They don't pay taxes on that Social Security. So you would add the $750 to it. You'd add the 30%. So when the bank chops it, it's pretty close to what they actually get, and it's a realistic number. So you put total household income, and you run them one at a time. And all three of these lenders use a different credit bureau. So you might get a different result on each one. Now, what you do, the persona, what you put out as far as to the homeowner is you're typing. You go through Green Sky, you go through service, you go through dividend. If it doesn't get approved, you just look at them and go, okay, everything looks great. I've got it all entered. And Michelle will reach back out to you tomorrow and she'll finish up with email. Don't tell them they didn't get approved. These are all going to give paper notifications of not being approved to them that don't come for a week or two. So Michelle will have time to work them to a second lender. We don't want to let them know they didn't get approved because then they're going to get all upset and it's going to be hard for Michelle to then save the deal with a different lender. But if you just go, well, I got everything entered. Michelle will be taking care of this with you tomorrow and finish up with email and then you get your docs. Okay. Sounds great. If you do get approval, just look at them and go, wow, I got an instant approval. That only happens about 1 out of 5 times. You folks must have great credit. Let's go over it. And you just turn around, go over it and get them to sign it. Your manager will walk you through how to use these apps. And there's another video on YouTube about some more finance information. But I just want you to have an overview of use them in this order, some of the differences, and also the fact that you want to use total household income and put them through one at a time. And a couple of these lenders will tell you the whole amount they're good for. Like you only want 24 grand, but they'll tell you they're good for 50 or good for 70. You might be able to do an add-on right there while you're in the house or come right back and do an add-on as soon as the job's done because they've got the credit. Some of these lenders will tell you that as well. All right. So now you've buttoned up and you've done your paperwork. You've got your paper credit app done. You did your one-click agreement. You got it signed. You collected your deposit. You did that before you then got into the finance apps. Then you took your paper credit app. You filled out the remodel electronic credit app. You ran through your finance apps in this order. And like I said, there's another video about the finance apps on YouTube. There's also a video about the rescission conversation on YouTube. I highly recommend you watch those a couple of times and help with those details in that conversation as well. All right. Thank you very much.